Number 1. White Star Line swapped the Titanic with its damaged sister ship, the Olympic, to collect insurance. The Olympic collided with the HMS Hawk in 1911, causing significant structural damage. It happened to be in dry dock at the exact same time Titanic was being outfitted. Conspiracists say the Olympic was disguised as the Titanic, sailed under her name, and was deliberately sunk to collect insurance funds. Problems with this conspiracy are that serial numbers on recovered parts from the wreck match Titanic, not Olympic. Also, this idea would require thousands of employees to stay silent forever, which is very unlikely. 2. J.P. Morgan plotted to eliminate his banking rivals aboard the Titanic. Morgan was a powerful banker who backed the creation of the Federal Reserve that would come to be in 1913. He had booked a private suite on Titanic, but canceled at the last minute. Key victims like Astor, Guggenheim, and Strauss, all vehemently opposed to central banking, died in the disaster. Pushback on this claim says there's no direct evidence Morgan orchestrated the sinking or was connected in any way, and many influential passengers did survive or canceled their trip at the last minute altogether. 3. A fire inside a coal bunker compromised the hull's integrity. There was indeed a fire, and it burned for up to 3 weeks prior to the initial departure. Some reports say the ship sailed despite the fire because the delay would be very costly and cause bad publicity. The claim is that the blaze weakened the bulkhead steel where the iceberg struck, making the damage much more catastrophic than it would be without the fire. Further investigations in modern times have suggested the fire may have made things worse, but wasn't a primary or contributing cause to the wreck. 4. A rare lunar event created the conditions that led to Titanic's demise. A supermoon recorded on January 4th, 1912, did cause exceptionally high tides, potentially dislodging icebergs from Greenland's coast. Astronomers like Donald Olson have supported the plausibility of this theory. But this theory doesn't imply a conspiracy, but rather a cosmic chain of unlucky events that all contributed to the disaster. 5. The Rothschild family somehow benefited from Titanic's sinking and may have even orchestrated it. Often pulled into banking-related conspiracies, the Rothschilds are accused without any evidence of manipulating global finance through multiple tragic worldwide events. There is no evidence that links the Rothschilds to the Titanic or its builders, and the theory is mostly speculative. 6. The iceberg story was a cover for internal sabotage. Survivors describe hearing explosions as his ship broke apart. Some even reported lights under the water flashing. These could point to a bomb or simply mechanical failure of cold water and electric parts. Modern sonar and dive analysis show iceberg-like hull damage on the Titanic and nothing that matches patterns that would go along with an explosion theory. 7. Aliens were either observing or involved in the Titanic sinking. Purely speculative, built from sightings of strange lights in the sky on the night of the sinking and general worldwide UFO lore. In reality, there's no actual documented evidence or credible sightings of any UFO activity that night. This is considered largely fringe pseudoscience by those in the UFO world. 8. Titanic was mistaken for a military ship and was torpedoed by a German U-boat. Pre-World War I tensions were growing. Some survivors claim they saw a second ship and flashes going across the water. Problems with this theory are that Germany didn't declare war till 1914, and no submarines were recorded in the area in April of 2012. 9. An ancient Egyptian mummy was aboard the Titanic and cursed the voyage. The unlucky mummy at the British Museum gained a reputation for notorious bad luck. The artifact, in fact, never left the museum, though newspapers of the time promoted the myth that she was aboard the Titanic heavily. There was indeed no mummy on the official manifest, and experts agree this is a hoax. 10. Freemasons orchestrated the disaster for symbolic or ritualistic reasons. Many influential people of the era were Masons, including possibly some of Titanic's designers and top officers. Numerology, Masonic symbolism, and hidden agendas were involved. Skepticism of this theory say there are absolutely no solid links that have been found, and this is just a common trope in elite conspiracy narratives. The sinking was a ritualistic sacrifice of powerful figures. This theory it's similar to the J.P. Morgan theory, with added occult or secret society involvement on top of it. Some refer to the timing, April 14th, which overlaps with the historical pagan rituals. The weakness, the dates don't line up exactly, although they are close, and there's zero direct evidence beyond coincidence and total vague symbolism. 12. Captain Edward Smith himself was bribed or ordered to sink the Titanic intentionally. Possible reasons given: he was near retirement age and close to J.P. Morgan. Some say he ignored iceberg warnings and drove full speed ahead. Criticism of this theory is that Smith had a long, unblemished career and perished in the disaster without even trying to escape. There is no credible motive or paper trail for this theory. 13. The Titanic's engines failed due to untested technology, leading to multiple internal explosions. Some believe the Titanic was experimenting with a turbine design or engine configuration to outdo the Cunard Line's Lusitania. The problem: the Titanic actually used traditional engines, and no novel propulsion methods were documented or logged. 14. The Titanic was carrying secret or priceless cargo that someone tried to steal. Rumors include gold, diamonds, and even Tesla's unpublished documents. The theory states that sabotage occurred to sink the ship, and the cargo was later recovered by those responsible. In reality, the cargo manifests include fine goods, but nothing uniquely valuable enough to justify sinking the ship intentionally. 15. Titanic didn't hit an iceberg at all. Alternative theories: it struck a hidden object, had a hidden design flaw, or suffered an internal blast. Eyewitness confusion: some survivors say they felt a bump but saw no iceberg. This got debunked in 1985. The record shows damage consistent with an iceberg, including long scrapes and hull compromise. 16. Titanic, or the Olympic rather, if you believe in the switch theory, was deliberately scuttled to collect insurance. The ship was to suffer controlled crash or fire, then be salvaged, but the plan failed catastrophically. In fact, Titanic was not insured for full value, so the loss was financially devastating to White Star, eliminating the motive to do this. 17. The shipwreck at the bottom of the Atlantic is the Olympic and not the Titanic. Supporters of this theory say the porthole arrangements, differences in room layout, and a few serial number anomalies explain this. Counter evidence suggests multiple parts from the wreck bear the Titanic's exact build numbers, and the Marconi room matches the Titanic design, not Olympics, which was slightly different. 18. The 1898 novel Futility, or The Wreck of the Titan, predicted Titanic. A ship named Titan, considered unsinkable, hits an iceberg in April in the North Atlantic and had too few lifeboats in the book. Many see this as uncanny. Others say it reflects knowledge of maritime issues of the time. In conclusion, this is probably just a creepy coincidence, but there's no indication the author had any inside knowledge of things to come. 19. The ship was secretly being used to test weapons, structural materials, or cargo capacity for the British military. Some say a detonation occurred as a part of a test that went totally wrong. Flaws in this argument suggest there's no military cargo or officials that were listed officially to be on board. The ship was a commercial passenger liner only. 20. Some survivors who spoke out about alternate causes, such as explosions, strange ship behavior, or mysterious cargo, were ignored, discredited, or eliminated altogether. A few testimonies were not included in the official report, and others later recanted on what they said. The theory says that an effort to suppress information that contradicted the iceberg narrative were shut down. The criticism of this says most survivors were allowed to speak freely and that these contradictions are very common after traumatic events in the midst of chaos.